So there's a video that's been making huge waves online, sparking some pretty intense debates. And it all comes down to one simple question about the clothes we wear. In this explainer, we're going to dive into a really provocative argument from the YouTube channel Riduki Diary that challenges the reasons we all give for our fashion choices.
And this is it. This is the question that kicks the whole thing off. The speaker, Ritu, she doesn't ease into it at all. She just puts it right out there for her audience. It really sets the stage for an argument that's, well, it's both incredibly direct and, yeah, pretty controversial.
Okay, so where is she even going with a question like that? Well, to get it, we first have to look at the common answers she's already expecting. You know, the justifications she's about to take apart, piece by piece. She knows what people are going to say, and she lists them right off the bat. Things like, oh, it's just fashion, or it's super hot outside, or the big one, it's my body, my choice. But her whole point is that maybe, just maybe, those reasons don't tell the full story, especially if you look a little closer. All right, so first up, she takes aim at the whole fashion argument. She basically says that what we think is fashionable is totally warped by what we see in movies and on TV, and it creates this massive disconnect between fantasy and reality. And here's where she makes a really fascinating comparison between what she calls real life and real life. In the movies, the real life, you see actors in these glamorous, perfect, often revealing outfits. But then she says, go look at their personal social media, their real life. What do you see? A lot of the time, they're just in a t-shirt and jeans, hanging out with their families. So her question is, why are people chasing a fantasy that even the stars themselves aren't living day to day? Next on her list, the hot weather excuse. And her challenge here is pretty simple. Okay, it's hot, but are you at the beach? Are you at a pool? Because if not, she asks, is the temperature really the only reason? She points out that these kinds of outfits are often worn no matter what the thermometer says, which kind of pokes a hole in that whole justification.
And this is where things take a really sharp turn. We're moving away from social commentary now and getting right to the absolute core of her thesis, and it's all about personal safety.
So here's her big claim. She says that some outfits might physically give a person less time to react or defend themselves in an attack. Now, to be super clear, she's not talking about placing blame here. She's trying to make a very practical and pretty startling point about time. And look, she actually puts numbers to this idea. According to her claim, a short dress might be removed in just 2 seconds. Now compare that to a sari or a salwar suit, which she estimates could take 5 to 10 minutes to deal with. The implication is pretty stark. Those extra minutes could be the difference between getting away and not. But then she zooms the lens out. She wants to make it clear that this isn't just about women's clothing, or even just about safety. She broadens the whole conversation to talk about attraction and how it's really a two-way street. She calls it a competition of attraction, and she's very clear that men are just as involved. She points to guys building up their muscles, their dolly shoal, as she puts it, and wearing open shirts to look attractive. Her main point here is that this isn't a one-gender issue. Everyone participates in this dynamic, which means anyone can become a target of unwanted attention. And she makes this really fascinating distinction. She suggests that different clothing choices might attract different kinds of attention. She splits admirers into 2 types. You've got Category 1, the aggressive kind, the catcaller or the whistler or the follower. Then there's Category 2, the quiet smiler, the subtle, more respectful admirer. And this brings us to our final thought. It's not a rule, it's not a command, it's a direct challenge to you, the viewer. She basically says the choice isn't about what you should or shouldn't wear, but about consciously deciding what kind of attention you want in your life. It's a really provocative note to end on.